never taken a yoga class before, that is okay. This class is beginner friendly. However, I always want to remind students that beginner does not always equal easy. This class is meant to be challenging. I want you to break a sweat. However, I won't just call out yoga poses and expect you to know where we're going. I will build you into alignment and give a little more detail, especially the first time through a pose. Just like other exercise classes, we start with a slow warm-up. We target areas of the body we're going to use later in the class. Then we start to pick up the pace. We're moving around on the mat more, we're picking up our heart rate, and then we slow down our breath, slow down our movement, and end our class on our backs in a final resting period where we remain still, or we try to remain still, for about 2 to 3 minutes. And the point of that is to not only absorb all the benefits that we've put through our body, all the movements that we put our body through, allowing that to just absorb, we're also giving time for some self-reflection. I think that is the most important part of yoga, is the final resting period, because yoga is not just about what we do in our physical bodies, it's about recognizing what goes on the inside as well. Before we start, I want to remind everyone to always listen to your body, take breaks if you need. If something doesn't feel right in your body, you're okay to skip. And always check with your doctor before you start a new exercise plan. Today we're going to start in a standing position, so go ahead and stand at the top of your mat with your feet hips width distance apart. Looking forward, shoulders relaxed down the back, palms are facing forward. Go ahead and place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, tilt your chin down towards your chest. And I'll ask that you either close your eyes or keep your gaze focused on one spot for the next few moments. Start to deepen the breath. And give all of your attention to every rise and every fall of the chest. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling out through mouth. Take a few more breaths just like this. In through nose, out through mouth. Resume your normal pattern of breath. Lift your chin from your chest, open your eyes if they were closed, and lower your arms down at your sides. Inhale, right arm up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, elbow bends, bringing the hand to the small of the back. Reaching the elbow up towards the ceiling, so we're working with the shoulders, opening the chest. Gaze is slightly up towards the ceiling. Engage your core and open through the front side of the body. On your next inhale, right arm lengthens up towards the ceiling. As we exhale, arm lowers down by our sides. Left arm comes up to ceiling as we breathe in. Bend at the elbow, bringing the hand to the small of the back. Elbow reaches up towards the ceiling. Take some deep breaths here. As you inhale, arm lengthens towards the ceiling. On the exhale, arm lowers down by your sides. Bring both arms up to shoulder height. And then give yourself a hug, wrapping arms around the body, dropping chin to chest, and breathing here. Now opening on the back side of our body. Take a mental note of which arm is on top. Then extend the arms back out to shoulder height. Nice deep breath in. On the exhale, we'll give ourselves another hug. Switching arms, so opposite arm on top, chin lowers to the chest, and take a few breaths here. On your next inhale, open the arms back to shoulder height. As we exhale, arms lower down at our sides. Bring the hands behind the back, grabbing onto opposite elbows. Step your right foot back to the center of the mat. Then heel toe the foot out to the outer edge of the mat. Find length through the spine, open the front of the chest, shoulders reach behind the heart, engage the core, and fall into pyramid pose, hinging forward at the hips, bringing chest parallel to floor. If the forward leg feels really tight, you can put a soft bend in the knee for some ease. Hips are squared towards the front of the mat. Shoulders relaxed away from ears. Lengthening spine out through the tailbone, out the crown of the head. On the inhale, we'll slowly rise up to standing. Then stand in the center of the mat, both feet together, center of mat. Now left foot steps to the back of the mat, heel toe the foot out to outer edge. Find length through the spine, open front of chest, engage core, and hinge forward into pyramid pose, chest parallel to floor. Softly bending forward leg if you need some ease. So we're relieving stiffness in the legs here, still opening the chest, lengthening the spine. On your next inhale, slowly rise to standing. Then step all the way to the back of the mat and relax your arms down at your sides. Give me a deep breath in through the nose, lifting both arms overhead. We'll pause and exhale here. Gazes up to the ceiling and engage your core. Lower to forward fold, hands come together, down through heart center. Hinge forward at the hips, dropping belly down to the thighs, and let arms and head hang heavy towards the floor. We want a closeness of our bellies to thighs here, so if you can't quite make that contact, bend the knees so belly can come down to thighs. Low belly's engaged, hips are reaching up towards the ceiling, crown of head reaches towards the floor. Rise to half lift, flattening your back, hands to shins, gazes down towards the mat. And walk into a plank position. Hands walk up the length of the mat, right into plank. Spread the fingers nice and wide and we'll hold here. Don't hold the breath. Take a look back at your feet, check your alignment. Heels in line with hips, in line with shoulders. We're pressing into the bottom of the palm, the top of the palm, and out through the pads of the fingers. We're holding here. Thighs are engaged, core is engaged, glutes engaged, shoulders engaged. Then lower knees down to the mat into a tabletop position. Now, if that felt a little sensitive for your wrist, you can try taking plank on your fist instead, thumbs facing one another. For now, hands are flat to the mat. Turn your fingertips out to face the long edges of the mat and gently rock side to side, just working with the wrists here. And find some stillness. Now fingertips turn towards the knees. If you're feeling too much sensation, you can find some ease by walking the knees in closer to the hands. This time we're going to rock gently backwards and forwards. Turn the hands so fingertips face towards the front of the mat. And if you shifted your knees, come back into alignment. Tabletop position, knees are underneath the hips. And then just wring out the hands one at a time. Extend your right leg behind you, pointing through the heel, toes face down towards the floor. And extend your left arm forward, thumb face up towards the ceiling, gazes to the floor, right into sunbird. We're holding here, but not holding the breath. Starting to warm up the core, but also working on our balance. So you might find that you're a little wobbly, but that's okay. As you exhale, give me a crunch, drawing knee to elbow, elbow to knee, and inhale to extend back into sunbird. Exhale to crunch, knee to elbow, elbow to knee. Exhale, draw the belly in, inhale to extend. Here's 3, exhale. Inhale, 2 more. Here's 4. Here's 5. Extend, and then just the hand's gonna come down to the floor. Lift up to the tips of the fingers, point through the right toes now. Give me another crunch, drawing just the knee to the chest, rounding the spine, pulling the belly in, and stepping the foot into lunge or placing it in between the hands, ankle below knee. Draw breath in through the nose, lifting right arm up to the ceiling, twisting the belly, twisting the ribs, gaze is up. As we exhale, nice and slow, fingertips come down to the floor. Try to slow down the breath here. Slow inhale, arm lifts to ceiling, belly twist, ribs twist. Exhale, fingertips to floor. Again, we inhale and lift the arm. This time we'll pause and exhale here. Right foot's flat to the mat. And just to challenge our balance a little bit, we'll see if we can float our left hand off the mat, bringing arms to shoulder height. So core is engaged. Thighs are drawing actively towards the midline of the body for stability. On your next exhale, left hand comes down to the floor, right arm up to ceiling, and then the right fingertips come down. Extend the right leg behind you, pointing through the toes, then drop the knees to tabletop. Left leg extends into sunbird, right arm extends forward, thumb up to the ceiling, toes down towards the floor. We're holding here. On your next exhale, give me a crunch. Knee to elbow, elbow to knee. Inhale to extend. Here's 2. Inhale. 3. 4. Last one. Just the hand comes down to the mat. Lift up to the tips of the fingers. Point through the toes. Give me a crunch into lunge. Knee to chest, round the spine. Step or place the foot in between the hands. Draw breath in through the nose, lifting left arm up to ceiling. Drawing belly in, gaze is up. Exhale, fingertips to floor. 2 more times. Deep breath in, lifting to the twist. Exhale. Last time, breath in, brings arm up. Pausing here, but don't hold the breath. And see if we can float right hand off the mat, arms in line with shoulders. On your next exhale, right hand comes down to the floor, left arm up to ceiling, and then fingertips, left hand follow. Extend the left leg behind you, point through the toes, and return to tabletop. Slowly round the spine into cat pose, tucking chin to chest, drawing the belly in. And lift and arch the spine into cow, letting belly hang and tilting head up to ceiling. Let the tailbone lead the movement as you round the spine into cat, chin to chest. Tailbone leads as we lift and arch. And again, exhaling to cat pose. Inhaling to cow. Another time or 2, exhale to round your spine, move at your own pace. Inhale to lift and arch. Keep this up. And then settle into a tabletop position. Hands are flat to mat. And we'll lower to puppy pose. Elbows come down to mat, stacked under shoulders, palms face down to floor, and head hangs heavy. Take a few deep breaths here. This is option 1 for your rest position anytime during the class. You can take it at any time, whether I cue it or not. Option 2 is to settle into child's pose, bringing the big toes to touch, sending hips all the way down to the heels and resting forehead on mat. If you're new to yoga, new to these poses, try both out, see what feels better for you, and we'll finish our warm-up here with a few deep breaths. Just like we started the class, bring your attention, all of your attention, to every inhale and every exhale. And appreciate this short moment of stillness before we pick up our pace. Slowly meet me back in a tabletop position on your hands and your knees. Lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend your left leg behind you. Point through the toes. And give me a crunch into lunge. Knee to chest, around the spine. Step or place the foot through. Right toes tuck onto the mat. Lift that knee into the air, lifting up to pointer and middle finger, sending chest forward. Step up to half lift. Right foot steps up to the top of the mat, flat in the back, hands to shins. Lengthen out through crown of head. Then lower to forward fold. Gently bend the knees so belly can touch thighs. Let the arms and head hang towards the floor. Now one vertebra at a time, we'll start to round our spines up to a standing position. Take your time, feel all the muscles the body requires to get you in an upright position, and let your chin come up from the chest, very last. Give me a deep breath in through the nose, lifting arms up overhead. Slow exhale out through the mouth, lowers arms down by your side. So now we're going to move into the bulk of the practice. Before we do, I'm going to demo our plank sequence for the week. Every week we have a new plank sequence, so I'll demo first and then we'll tie it into the practice together. So we are going to start in a plank position. I'll always give us a countdown so you know when it's coming up. Something like we'll start our sequence in 3, 2, 1. Today we're taking shoulder tap. So one hand's going to cross over to opposite shoulder and then the other. So shoulder, 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 and then we'll crunch. One knee's going to cross up and over to opposite armpit. Reach for the armpit even if you can't quite make it there. So we'll crunch, 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 and crunch. Lower down to forearm plank, and we'll hold here. Alignment is the same here, so heel align with hips, align with shoulders. We'll hold for 5 seconds. We'll release and carry on the sequence from there. So we'll all start standing at the top of our mat with our feet hips width distance apart. Stand nice and tall with purpose. Relax shoulders down the back. Give me a slow inhale, bring both arms up overhead. As we exhale, we'll lower to forward fold. Hands come together, down through heart center. Hinge forward at the hips, belly to thighs, arms and head to the floor. Rise, half lift, flatten back, hands to shins. And step into your plank position. Bend your knees so you can plant your hands and step back into your plank. We'll start our sequence in 3, 2, 1. Shoulder, 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 shoulder. Give me a crunch, 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 and crunch. Lower down to forearm plank and we hold for 5. And those crunches really draw the belly in as you exhale, engage the core, and we'll release to the mat. Tops of feet to mat, hands under shoulders and elbows up to ceiling. Lift the chest to baby cobra using the strength of your core. Then press into your rest position, whether that's puppy pose, elbow to mat, or child's pose, hips to heels. Again, appreciating this moment of stillness. For the first few moments of class, each of these rests are going to get a little shorter. Focus comes to the breath in your rest position. Slowly meet me back in tabletop. Lift up to the tips of your fingers. And extend your right leg behind you, pointing through the toes. Give me a crunch into lunge, knee to chest. Step that foot on through. Left toes tuck onto the mat. Lift that knee into the air, lifting up to pointer and middle finger. Chest sends forward. Step up to half lift, feet step together, back is flat, hands to shins. Lower to fold, bend the knees, let belly touch thighs, and one vertebrae at a time, we'll round our spines to a standing position. Same thing, lifting arms overhead, deep breath in. Slow exhale out the mouth, takes us to forward fold, belly to thighs. Inhale, half lift, flatten back, hands to shins. Exhale as you step back into your plank position, and we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Shoulder, 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 and shoulder. Give me a crunch, 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 and crunch. Forearm plank, and we're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Tops of feet to mat, hands under shoulders.
Lift the chest to baby cobra. Don't press into the hands to find the lift. Then press into your chosen rest position, whether that's puppy or child's. Don't feel married to either rest position. You can switch it up if you choose. Bring that attention back to the breath. A little shorter of a rest this time. So we're going to rise right back to a tabletop position and lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend the left leg behind you, point through those toes, engage your core and give me a crunch. Knee to chest and step into lunge. Step up to half lift, so right knee lifts. We'll step up, hands to shins, back is flat. Lower to fold, belly meets the thighs, and one vertebrae at a time will rise to standing. Last time, deep breath in, arms overhead, gaze up. Slow exhale to forward fold, belly to thighs. Inhale, half lift, flatten back. Exhale as you step back into your plank position, starting in 3, 2, 1. Shoulder, 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 crunch, 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 and crunch. Forearm plank, holding for 5. If you want to amp up your forearm planks for the rest of class, you can take crunches to the outside, but it's up to you. And release. Hands under shoulders. Deep breath into baby cobra. Lift the chest and exhale to your rest position. As soon as you make it to your rest position, draw the breath in, rise right back to tabletop and lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend your right leg behind you, point through the toes. Give me a crunch into lunge, step the foot in between the hands. Draw the breath in as you step up to half lift, hands to shins. Exhale as you find forward fold. See if you can draw the inhale out as you slowly rise to standing, and then exhale at the top. Once you make it to standing, separate your feet so they're mat width distance apart, and lift arms to shoulder height. Right hand crosses over to left shin, and we're back up. Still working with the core here. Opposite side crosses over, and we're up. So you don't have to focus on reaching down far, just focus on finding the twist with your core. As you cross the right hand over, we're drawing the belly in, engaging, and lifting up. Left hand crosses over, and up. One more time, find the twist. Last time, and we're up. Step the feet together, lift both arms overhead, gaze up to ceiling, and lower to forward fold, belly to thighs. Rise half lift, flat in the back. Step your right foot back into a lunge position. You might need to kick that foot back a few times until left knee is over the ankle and you're on the ball of the right foot. Bring your hands to your forward thigh and extend both arms overhead into high lunge. Take a few deep breaths here into your chest, pressing strongly out through the right heel. However, if the leg feels pretty tight, you can put a soft bend in the knee. Glute is still active. Finding length on the sides of the body, shoulders relax away from ears. Then open to 5-pointed star, facing the right side of the mat, turning feet forward and lowering arms to shoulder height. Left foot turns to face the front of the mat, and bend the knee into warrior 2, stacking it right over the ankle. Hips and shoulders are facing the long edge of the mat, standing tall up towards the ceiling. We'll lower to side angle, elbow comes down to thigh, and right arm frames the ear, lifting and twisting the chest up towards the ceiling, engaging the core. We'll inhale as we rise back to warrior 2. Straighten the forward leg and find reverse warrior. Left arm comes up to the ceiling while right arm relaxes. Meet me back in warrior 2, arms at shoulder height, knee is bent. Lower to side angle, elbow comes down, free arm frames the ear, find the twist, engage the core. We'll rise back to warrior 2, straighten the forward leg, find reverse warrior, left arm up to ceiling. Exhale, back to warrior 2, then windmill into lunge. Hands frame the foot, right heel lifts off the mat. Step back into your plank position and we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Shoulder, 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 and shoulder. Give me crunch, 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 and crunch. Find that forearm plank. You can keep up with the crunches if you like, or hold it here, maybe skip it, it's up to you, and we'll release. Hands under shoulders, deep breath in to find baby cobra, chest lifts, and exhale to your rest position. We will take a few moments in this rest, so deepen your breath. Notice the rate of your heart. You're doing great. We've got one other side to complete and then we'll start winding down. Use your inhale to meet me back in a tabletop position. Lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend your right leg behind you. Point through the toes. Give me a crunch into lunge. Foot in between the hands. Breathe in as you step up to half lift. Exhale as you lower to fold. And we'll draw the inhale out as we slowly rise to standing. Once you make it up, step those feet mat width distance apart and lift your arms to shoulder height. Doesn't matter which side you start on, take one hand, cross it over to opposite shin, and find the lift. Opposite side, and we're up. That's 1. Here's 2. Last time, I want to hear you breathe, even though I really can't, but I will pretend. Once you're back up to standing, feet together, arms overhead, gaze is up, and exhale to your forward fold, belly down to thighs. Inhale as you rise, half lift. Exhale as you step your left foot back into lunge and ignore my very noisy neighbors. Right knee is stacked over the ankle. Bring hand to forward thigh and extend arms overhead into high lunge. Take a few deep breaths for me here. Remembering you can put a soft bend in the extended leg if you need some ease. Find length out to the crown of your head. Engage your core. Open to 5-pointed star, facing the left side of your mat, feet forward and arms at shoulder height. Turn the right foot forward towards the front of the mat and bend the knee into warrior 2. Hips and shoulders face long edge of the mat. Lower down to side angle, left arm frames the ear. Find the lift, twist the belly. We'll rise back to warrior 2, arms at shoulder height. Straighten forward leg and inhale, reverse warrior, right arm up to ceiling. Exhale back to warrior 2 and right into side angle, elbow to thigh. Find the twist, don't hold the breath. We'll rise back to warrior 2 and find reverse warrior. Nice deep breath in. As we exhale, we'll windmill the arms down into lunge. Left heel lifts off the mat. And step back into plank position, starting our sequence in 3, 2, 1. Shoulder, 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 crunch, 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 and crunch. Find your forearm plank. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Deep inhale for your baby cobra, chest lifts off mat. And exhale to your chosen rest position. Few deep breaths here. Attention comes back to breath. Use your inhale to meet me back in a tabletop position. Lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend your left leg behind you. Point through the toes. Give me a crunch right into lunge. Inhale as you step up to half lift. Exhale as you lower to forward fold. Try to draw the inhale out as you slowly rise to your standing position. And exhaling at the top. Take one hand back to the heart, one hand to the belly, lower chin to chest. Eyes are closed or gaze is focused on one spot on the mat. Shoulders are melting away from ears, but spine stays long. Take a few breaths here to yourself. Then lower your arms down at your sides and lift chin from chest. Deep breath in through the nose with both arms overhead. Gaze up to ceiling. As you exhale, lower arms down by your sides. We're going to do that 2 more times. You can close the eyes if you're comfortable. Nice deep breath in, bringing both arms back overhead. Exhale, arms down at your sides. Again, breath in, arms up. And we'll exhale to forward fold. Don't be scared to keep those eyes closed. We'll take a few breaths here in our forward fold. Option for variation is to take ragdolls, grabbing onto opposite elbow, helping to find a little more length in the spine. Keep low belly engaged. We'll rise to half lift, flattening the back. And step back into our plank position. If eyes were closed, open them now. We'll take our last plank sequence in 3, 2, 1. Shoulder, 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 and shoulder. Crunch, 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 and crunch. Find your forearm plank. We're gonna aim to hold this one for 15 seconds, but you don't have to stick it out with me if you don't want to. We're all gonna make our way to our bellies eventually. You can get there early if you like. I have already started counting, so we don't have much longer to go. We are holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release all the way down to the mat. Bring your arms along the sides of your body, palms face up. Turn your head to one side so you can rest on your cheek. Bring big toes to touch, but let heels fall away from one another to help relax, relieve the low back. Wiggle shoulders away from ears. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you exhale out through your mouth, let everything go onto your mat. Take this much needed and much deserved rest. If you'd like a deeper stretch for your neck here, you can turn your head so you're resting more on your ear than you are your cheek. Then gently turn your head to the opposite side. And if you rested on the ear on the opposite side, do the same here. Bring your chin to the mat, place your hands underneath your shoulders, and for one final time, press yourself into whatever chosen rest position. Just as I've been saying throughout the class, bring your attention back to your breath. Nice and slow, make your way to a comfortable seated position, sitting in the center of your mat. Draw both knees in towards your chest and feet planted on the floor. Lengthen the spine. You can hold on to the front of the legs for some support. Relax shoulders away from ears. And just hold here. All Right now we're just engaging the core. You might, lengthening the spine. You might feel some engagement in your core. If you're looking for a little more engagement, go ahead and lift up to the tips of the toes and walk them a little closer in towards your body. Holding on to the back of the thighs to make it a little more challenging. And just hold here. We don't have to do much, but the core is working. And still holding on to the back of our thighs, we'll slowly make our way down until we're laying flat on our backs. Draw both knees in towards your chest, drawing thighs close to body, feet side by side. If you'd like a little more compression, a little more lengthening in the low back, you can interlace the fingers and hold below the knees, drawing the thighs closer to the body that way. The low back shouldn't lift off the mat. Find a little bit of a rock side to side. Find some stillness. Hands return to the back of the thighs. Then extend both legs up to the ceiling into our inversion. So heels are lined up about above the hips. Chin tucks gently in towards the chest. And we'll hold here. Inversions are great for inducing relaxation. Helps to calm our nervous system. A little fresh oxygenated blood to our heads. Slowly draw both knees back towards the chest, lower heels down towards the glute. Release your arms along the floor at shoulder height, palms face up to ceiling. Let the knees fall into reclined spinal twist over to the right. And head turns to the left. Being our last pose before our final resting pose. This is the perfect time to close your eyes, bring your attention back to your breath. Start to relax the muscles around the brow and on the face. Separate upper and lower jaw. Drop your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Nice and slowly draw the knees back to the center of the body before letting them fall over to the left and turning head to the right. As you inhale, draw knees back to center. Wrap your arms around the legs, drawing them close to the body one last time. Lift your head to meet your knees. Take a nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top. Squeeze the body nice and tight like you're in a tight little ball. And as you exhale, we'll release the ball so that we can lay flat on the mat, separating our legs and arms as wide as we can. Let the toes fall away from one another, palms face up, and eyes closed if they're not closed already. And again, attention comes back to the breath. As you inhale, imagine the body glowing with a bright light.
And as you exhale, try to relax a little more, melt a little more onto your mat. And I want you to be mindful that even though we're laying still on our backs, we're still working in our practice. Finding a mind-body connection. Letting go of everything that no longer serves us. If your focus has wandered, bring your attention back to your breath. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Gently wiggle the fingers and the toes. Welcome movement back into your body. Then roll over to the right side of your body and take a moment of stillness on your side. Your arm can support your head like a pillow. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze low to the floor, slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. And if you're not quite ready to sit up yet, that's okay. Just keep an ear open so you know where we're headed next. To finish our class, we take 3 cleansing breaths together as one. That's breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Today we'll take a 4-count breath. We'll draw the inhale in for a count of 4 and we will exhale for a count of 4. If after the first round of breath that count comes easy to you, I encourage you to extend your count to a count of 5. But let's all start together. So we'll exhale, releasing all the breath we have out of the body. Breathing in through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling, 2, 3, and 4. Breath in, 2, 3, and 4. Exhale, 2, 3, and 4. Last time, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, and 4. Take a second to thank yourself for taking this time out of your day for yourself. I'd like to thank you for letting me lead you on this practice. There's a light that exists within me that honors and respects the light that exists within each and every single one of you. Thanks so much for joining me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the class. I hope you broke a little bit of a sweat, but if you didn't, let me know because I can turn it up. If you enjoyed this class, there's a new version of this class that is aired every Wednesday at 8 a.m. If you're looking for something a little easier on your body, I also teach a vinyasa yoga class. It's structured much like this class. However, I take out the core work and I fill it in with something different. And that class is aired every Monday at 8 a.m. But we have lots of classes to offer, not just yoga. So take a look around the page, try out new classes, let us know what you think. And I hope to see you guys next